from MeetAdvisors.com, and I'm joined with Andy Abbott, organizer of the Chicago Startup Weekend and CTO of MethodModels. How are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
So I'd like to start off with you telling our audience exactly what you do at the Startup Weekend first, and then MethodModels.
Yeah. So Startup Weekend is a global organization. We basically host events here in Chicago and across the world. I think we have 112 different cities that we do. We've hosted, I think, over 2,000 or 3,000 events across the world. 300,000 entrepreneurs have gone through our program. It's probably even more than that. I haven't seen the numbers recently. And basically what it is, it's a 56-hour kind of pitch/hackathon that starts on Friday. Friday evenings, you basically get up in front of an audience and pitch your ideas, and we sort of work around those ideas, select the top sort of 10 to 15, form groups. Everyone works throughout the weekend doing market research, customer validation, creating a sort of MVP product, and then on Sunday we bring a panel of judges from the community here in Chicago to basically hear each group pitch their demo and basically show what products they've created, and then we select a winner. And so basically from Friday, starting with nothing, an idea, 120 people will form 10 teams, pitch basically startups on Sunday, and then go from there. And so it's kind of your starting point to the startup community and entrepreneurship here in Chicago. There's been some great companies coming out of it. One in particular, We Deliver, is a pretty good success story here in Chicago. I mean, they've gone from the same, Friday night, Jimmy got up it was November 2012, got up in front of the audience at 1871 and pitched his idea, and it just took off. They ended up winning. They got a lot of traction. They went through Tech Week here in Chicago last summer. They won their launch competition. They got invited to Google Demo Day out in San Francisco. And did very well there. Got some funding from some key people, and so now they're actually I think yesterday they just announced that they were accepted to Techstars. Wow. So they are part of the Techstars sort of incubator here in Chicago now, and so they'll be going through that. And it's a great story, and it all started in Startup Weekend. Wow.
And then can you give our audience a little bit of insight into what MethodModels is and what you do there?
Yeah, so MethodModels is a experiential marketing company. We basically provide staffing to experiential campaigns. And so these campaigns, if you're not familiar with what experiential is, it's basically if you go to a large kind of event, or you're walking down the street, somebody's handing out sample products. I don't know if you've seen, like in the just across the country, actually, there's a company called Sabra Hummus that is doing a lot of sampling of hummus. They're basically trying to get hummus to replace salsa. I think that's their goal. It's to be that sort of snack food. We do all the staffing for those events. Other events have been sort of AMP energy drinks. Like you go to an event, somebody's handing out free cans of AMP energy. We provide all the staff for that, and so it's a good way for brands to sort of get the product in front of the consumers, and it's similar to like kind of Startup Weekend. So like in a startup, you basically want to fail, and you want to fail fast, and so brands can basically, rather than launch large marketing campaigns on TV and radio and print, they can actually get the product in front of the consumers who are actually going to be using it and see if it's working. So, if I have a new flavor, if I have the new Pepsi 2 or Pepsi Next or whatever, and I want to see if my consumers like it, I might do some testing, small testing, beta testing, but then develop a product. It's a lot cheaper and more successful for me to distribute 1 million cans and actually see the results. Our sales, is there any sales lift in the community from that? And a successful marketing, like experiential campaign, is a great way to sort of start that for a brand. And so a lot of brands are transitioning a lot of money into this experiential industry, and we're there at the sort of forefront to provide the staff. We have a very large database of staff, and we basically connect the brands with the staff using technology that we're developing, and make it very easy for them to sort of have successful campaigns. And so I run a lot of the technology there. We have a new initiative that we're working on, a new startup actually, that we're going to be transitioning to, and we hope to launch that next month, so June, yeah. And we're so excited about it. It's going to be a great product. We've sort of tested a little bit here and there with some large clients, We had a massive campaign kick off this weekend for a large wireless brand. We showed them a component of our new technology, and they were just blown away. We basically took 100 hours of logistical type accounting process out of their system. So, having 2 people on staff working, 40 hours a week, to now basically a system that can do it for them. And so it's a very lucrative opportunity for us, and we're getting a lot of traction already for it. So we're excited.
That's great. We'll be excited to wait for the launch in June. So kind of going back to Startup Weekend, obviously it's from Friday to Sunday. Is it, full days, all days, or how does that work?
Yeah, typically we vary. It depends a lot on the venue that we're hosting at, but a lot of the teams actually will start Friday, at 6 p.m. or 5:30, and then just work all weekend.
Wow.
And so you'll have people that will, go to a coffee shop or, stay at 1871 and just work, all Sunday night, or all Saturday night, and we'll see them on Sunday, and it looks like they just, they literally look like they just are dead, just because they've been up for 48 hours, and it's crazy. But yeah, so it's a pretty intense event, a pretty intense weekend, but to see the people afterwards and hear kind of what they say that they get out of it is just amazing. So everyone is like, wow, this is the best thing I've ever done. It's like changed my life, and same for me. Like, that's where I started with Startup Weekend, and a lot of my success coming in Chicago has been from an event that I did it was the We Deliver event back in November 2012. That's where I started and got introduced to sort of the community here, and have been going ever since. And if you're interested in doing entrepreneurship or joining a startup, coming to a Startup Weekend is probably one of the best things that you can do. It really gives you a taste of what life is, and kind of introduces you, allows you to network, and basically can sort of kick off that part of your career. So it's a great thing.
And are there different types of themes to these weekends, or are they all the same? How does that kind of work?
Yeah, so we have basically we have like a core theme, a general type event. That's a lot of Startup Weekends. What you see is they normally are just anything goes, but what we're starting to do now is actually have verticals. And so our first vertical here in Chicago was EDU vertical last September, EdTech. That was a very successful event. There's been a couple companies that have come out of that. We did another one in October, a mobile vertical, which actually another company that just went to Techstars kind of started there. It's called Package Zen, sorry. And they basically, the one guy pitched his idea and then actually worked on it separately that weekend and has since continued. But yeah, so we are getting into verticals just because it's very good to bring a lot of the people who are interested in certain areas of whether it's technology or a specific industry. If you can bring them all together, there's a lot more that can happen. We have another one next month that we're targeting, getting women involved in entrepreneurships and startups. So it's a Startup Weekend Women. It's the one of 10 in the nation. Up Global, which is our parent company, is kicking off a new initiative to really try and get people to come out, or women to come out and join the startup community. And so we have that one June 20th coming up here, and then we have another just general event that we're going to be hosting probably in July, the end of July, and then we'll be doing the same EDU event here in September, and we might be, if we can get everything to put together, a makers event probably in the fall as well.
Great. And what are some of the challenges that you see entrepreneurs having? And then also, what have you seen as yourself being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I think a lot of the challenges are people don't realize how tough it is. I mean, it's a lot of work, especially if you're coming from a corporate 9-to-5 job. It's not something that you can sort of just get into and be like, oh yeah, it's going to be so easy, and because it's not. I mean, I literally will wake up 6 in the morning and work until midnight every single day. I've been doing it in the startup for the last 2 months, and 7 days a week, and it's nonstop. And so people don't realize how much work it is. But if you see a lot of successful entrepreneurs, they don't care. Like it's just this mindset that they have and this passion. And if you think about anything that you're really interested in, like you just love to do it. So it's not really work. Like I love like going to work, like my office every day and working with my team, because it's just so like it's so rewarding. There's just so much going on. It's interesting. I can see like the changes that we're really making to the industry already, and so it's all about passion. I think if you can find that passion, you really can focus in on that and find something to do with it. So like my passion was technology and building teams and connecting people, and I've been able to find a really good founding team here and come together and actually focus on an industry, bring my expertise to the table, bring their expertise to the table, and really create something successful. And so we're excited with that. And the other thing that I'll mention is it's not so much the idea. A lot of people always, I shouldn't say a lot, most people will focus on the idea, and you should focus on kind of your team, your partners, because if you can find the correct partnership, you guys are going to be successful. Like it doesn't really matter so much the idea, because if you think about all the startups that sort of like come in, come out, like there's so many ideas that fail. Like you should expect to fail. You should expect to fail a lot. But what you can sort of count on is that team. And so you can take your team, and if you guys really sort of collaborate well, you just move on to the next thing and move on to the next thing, and eventually you'll get it. And looking at like WeDeliver, like Jimmy and some of his folks, like they had been working on some stuff pre-WeDeliver, and it didn't pan out. And so that's when they started WeDeliver, and that took off. And then there's other guys that, you know, have started other companies and it fails. And then they have that, they found their co-founders, they found like their team, and they move on to the next. And then like a lot of exits and people who, you know, are successful, a lot of times you'll see their next company, their next venture, it's the same founding people. And that's not because like they're they all know that industry very well. No, they know that they found the key components of making a successful team. You know, finding the people who are good at sales, good at marketing, good at technology, like putting that together like is a force, and I think that's where you really can find success is building the team. If you go out to the community, network, and find those co-founders that you connect with, and I think that's like it should be your start.
And then kind of going off of that, what has been your biggest achievement, or what do you believe has been one of your biggest achievements growing your company?
I think the biggest thing that for me is just being able to come into Chicago. I mean, I just moved back here 2 years ago and had no network, and so I just really focused on getting out there, you know, helping out with different organizations, starting a developers group here in Chicago because I saw the need, working on Startup Weekend because I saw an opportunity there to, one, help out people, but also build my network, you know, be able to connect with people. And I knew that in order to get into, meet the right people and find that co-founder or team of co-founders, that I would have to network there. And so, you know, I basically started with this developer group, moved into Startup Weekend, and then moved into consulting business. And then ultimately contracted with my current, or the company that my founders own, to then ultimately start this separate venture. And so it's been very, I think that's been kind of my success here is being able to really put forth the effort to network, and then ultimately finding a group of individuals that I really connect with and really just have been able to build some amazing things in the last like 6 months that we've been working together. So.
Great. And what is one piece of advice that you would give to our community at MeetAdvisors.com?
I think just go out there and make yourself like visible. Like I think a lot of the things that you can't do anything yourself at all. Like you really need to sort of just start going to meetups. Like start doing different events. Just reach out to people. If you really want to talk to somebody, or if you're interested in or have questions, or interested in an industry or whatever, and you're not sure about things, just email them. Ask for a coffee. I do that all the time. I'll be like, hey, you know, like I noticed you did something, and I have some questions about it, or I want to do this one thing in technology, and I know that you guys do it at yours. Can we grab a cup of coffee? it's kind of like similar to in sales cold calling, because I didn't know these people before.
Right.
You just email them, and almost every time, like, people will be like, yeah, let's do it. Tuesday sounds great, let's go. So yeah, just like make yourself available. You have to put in the effort to get the results. So if you expect to basically go into a startup and just it's magic and you're the next Mark Zuckerberg, like, it's just not that way. Like, you have to really work at it, and it's not an easy thing. So, but again, like, find that passion, connect with people that you really connect with, find those people to connect with, and I think that's kind of the things you should focus on, because that's really what's going to make you happy. And because if you're spending 70 hours a week, 80 hours a week on stuff, like, if you're not happy with the people you work with, or you don't have the passion there, it's just not going to be a fun experience. So.
And where can people find you?
So I a lot of times I'm in 1871. I do the Microsoft .NET developers group here. Various events. If there's a startup event here in Chicago, you'll probably run into me. But if they want to connect with me online, it's LinkedIn or Twitter. Abbott is my handle. Yeah, but 1871 is probably the best place. I'm always there. So.
And what's Startup Weekend's website? It's
chicago.startupweekend.org. Next event's June 20th, the weekend of June 20th. It's a women's vertical, which is, it's not strictly just women, and we're actually going to be having a 50-50 focus. So don't think if you're not you're not a female that you can't come. It's actually going to be a really awesome event. Miss Tech team and Nicole and her team are actually putting it on, so we're excited, and it's going to be fun.
Guys, check out the next Startup Weekend event, and check out MeetAdvisors.com for more videos and blogs. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.